I believe that everyone on an average income can become a millionaire, right? But most people don't become millionaires because they think poor thoughts. They're always thinking, oh no, millionaire, that's not me. I don't see myself becoming a millionaire.
Like, subscribe, and share to Voices of Linden TV.
Hello, lovely folks. Welcome to another Money Minute episode. I'm Ingrid B. Clayton. Today I'm going to be talking to you about paying yourself first and why becoming a millionaire is much easier than you may think. Have you ever heard the saying, procrastination is the enemy of saving? How about this one? Time is money. I'm sure you heard that one before. Now, when we were in our early 20s, and I'm thinking around the time when we just finished college and land our ideal job. And I say ideal because we know that 75% of the population or 75% of the working force is not like their job, right? But when you finish college and you land yourself that job that's connected to whatever you went to study for, right? And then you get your first paycheck or first few paychecks and you think, oh, I have a whole lot of money. Not only that, you probably thought, I have a whole lot of time to save for my retirement. Some of us are, or some of us were still living with our parents at that stage in our lives, not having to worry about paying any rent, any utilities, any other household expenses. In fact, if you are, or if you were one of the lucky ones whose parents gave you their old car to drive, I was not the lucky ones, right? I was not one of the lucky ones. Perhaps all you had to worry about was buying gas and maybe giving your parents some money towards food or to help pay the car insurance. Some of us had false pretense of financial security at that time too, because, and I say false because we were really freeloading from our parents. We really don't realize that, or I should say, we really did not realize that venturing out on our own would drastically reduce our cash flow. Perhaps some of us did rooming home where it's multiple people living in the same home, kind of like a student rental. So you're just paying for a room. Right. So then if you're doing that, then your expenses would be much cheaper. But if you get an apartment on your own, then it'll be much more expensive. In fact, I've had young tenants who left their parents' home claiming they need their independence. But it didn't take long for them to get that rude awakening that living on their own is way more expensive than they thought. So what do you think happens when their lease is up? They just run back home to mommy and daddy, right? Because they don't want to take on all that expenses. And I'm not saying that living with your parents is a bad thing, but if you're doing that and squandering your money instead of investing it, that is such a waste. Why would you do that? You get to stay at home with your parents. You don't have to pay, all these expenses. Save your money, right? You should be paying yourself first for every earnings that we receive, right? We should always pay ourselves first. Do you realize that once we're old enough, or once we were old enough for the taxman to be in our pockets, right away he started paying himself first from our paycheck? Imagine that. The taxman pays himself first from our paycheck. He never skipped a beat. In fact, if in April he does that tax assessment, and realize that he undertaxed you, he wants his money immediately. And if you fail to give it to him, he will just pile on the interest, right? So not only that you have to pay what you owe him in taxes, you have to pay interest on that as well. So don't you think you should be treating yourself better? Paying yourself first is a way of rewarding yourself for the work that you put in to get that earning. And you can decide if you want 10%, 20% or more reward. But even if you start at, say, 5%, it's still better than no reward at all. And where you start Doesn't have to be where you end up, because you may start 5% today, but as you get more and more and you increase it 10%, and maybe you can increase it 20% and so on. Okay. But the earlier you start rewarding yourself, the more time you will have for compound interest to grow your money to a healthy sum that you can use later on when you really need it. When you're not living with your parents anymore, and that money will come in handy, or later on when you retire, right? Most people dream of becoming a millionaire by the time they retire, but never become one because they start paying themselves too late, or even if they start early, they don't pay themselves enough. That reward is just too small. So by the time they get to retirement, they miss the mark. I believe that everyone on an average income can become a millionaire. And I'm not saying only people with average income can be millionaires, but because you know that people at all different levels of income have become millionaires before, right? But most people don't become millionaires because they think poor thoughts. They're always thinking, oh no, millionaire, that's not me. I don't see myself becoming a millionaire, right? But let's think about it this way. If you earn $100,000 per year, you will earn $1 million after 10 years. And if you earn $50,000 per year, you will earn $1 million after 20 years. And I know you may be saying, yeah, I may have earned $1 million, but how much of that could I keep? How much of that could I save with all the taxes, the bills, and all the other household expenses that you had to pay, or you have to pay? But the beauty of compound interest is that you don't have to invest $1 million to have $1 million later on. You just need to invest a fraction of that. And over time, your return on investment will grow to that $1 million that you want, or even more. Here's a quick example. If you save $300 per month, and $300 per month, that's like $10 a day, because in a month you have about 30 days, right? And 30 times 10 is 300. So if you save $10 per day, and I know you can do it because I see the lines at Tim Hortons and I see the lines at McDonald's in the mornings and also in the evening. So lots of people can save $10 per day. If you save $10 per day, right, every day, an average $300 per month, right? Start from age 25. And I know some of you are older than 25 now, but I'm trying to show you that saving $1 million is not as far-fetched as you think. So I'm going to start age 25. You start saving, right? You put in an investment, say 8% per year on average. By the time you're 65, which is 40 years later, 65 is the age that most people retire anyways, you would have amassed more than $1,047,000 and change. So you can definitely become a millionaire by just saving, $10 per day and at an average interest rate of 8%. So it's not so much about whether someone earning average income can become a millionaire. It's more about how soon can they start saving $10 per day, or where can they get an investment that pays 8% per year on average. And how long will they keep saving that $10 per day for? Now, imagine if they could save more than $10 per day. Imagine if they could save $20 per day over that same period. So then now they're a multimillionaire, right? And so I do hope that you understand that becoming a millionaire is not as far-fetched as most people may think. It's all about paying yourself first and capitalizing on time. Remember what I said at the beginning? Time is money, and procrastination is the enemy of saving. So you don't want to procrastinate, right? Start saving today. Should have been yesterday. Start. If you didn't, that's okay. Start saving today, right? So this is where I will leave you today. Until next time, do what good.